Ready to get crafty? Today, we're going to turn these worn out blue jeans into something beautiful and festive. Watch as we upcycle this old denim into a gorgeous wreath with florals and ribbon accents for that perfect Americana rustic red, white, and blue flair. So let's get started. Okay, so to get started, you're going to need some florals. I'm using some red roses and these little blue flowers. I may not use the white ones, but we'll see. And I have some boxwood and your upcycled denim. And I've got a various amounts of ribbon, and I really love this ribbon. It's got that Americana rustic charm to it, and I'm going to also use some plain burlap to go with it. And you'll also need some jute string, or you'll need some thinner ribbon, like a 1/4 of an inch ribbon, 3/8 of an inch ribbon, and then any variety of ribbons that you have. All these were purchased from Hobby Lobby. Okay, so I'm going to set those aside. And then you'll also need a 12-inch wreath form, or you can use a bigger one if you prefer, or smaller. It's whatever that you have on hand, or you can get these from the Dollar Tree in a size 14-inch for $1.25. And then I have a few pieces of red, just plain red fabric, and I'm going to cut these up into strips along with my denim to put around the wreath, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to cut our denim. And I'm using old blue jeans, but you could use a denim fabric if you prefer, if you don't have any jeans that you want to cut up. Okay. And so how I'm doing this is I'm just cutting them into strips. And I've cut them into like 6 to 7 inch strips by about 2 inches. It gives you a little bit of an overhang on when you attach them to your ring, so that you'll have a little bit of ruffle flare around the edges. Okay, and also I've taken some of these darker denim pieces and I embroidered some stars on them. You can do this with a sewing machine. I did them by hand, but you don't have to put the stars on, like this. You could also buy just some decorative stars from the store and put those on here too. I'm pretty sure Dollar Tree has some of those decorative stars that you could just glue on your strips if you want. And so I've also cut the red strips, and I'm using a different color, faded blue jean strip as well. And some of them are a little bit wider, and that's okay. I find that between 1.5 to 2.5 or 3 inches is fine. I mean, it could be in different widths as well. You just want them. You're going to put them close together when you put them on the wreath form. So I don't know how many exactly that I cut, or that we'll need just yet. And then I cut a bunch of the red strips, and these are probably, I think these are 1.5 inches. And then when you go to cut your strips, you can use like in the seam here, where you've got this little seam in your jean, you can use this too. It'll just give it texture, and it'll look cute on there. So how we're going to do this, we're going to take our wreath form, and I'm going to do like dark blue, light blue, dark blue, and then a red, and then just keep going all the way around, except for the top. At the top, I'm going to put these strips that have the embroidered stars on them in those sections. So I'll place that right here at the top left. So it's going to look sort of like a flag. And then on this side, we'll put our florals with some ribbons and dress it up. Okay, so just going to grab our strip and I'll fold it evenly around so you get even hair on the end. And that's where your jute string is going to come in. I'm going to just cut like a 6-inch, 5 or 6 inch strand, and then I'm going to tie it on the ends. Tying our strips. And I'm going to scrunch it in just a little bit, and then we're going to tie it in a knot. And you just let your jute hang off. Okay, and then I'll go in with a lighter color. This is a great way to use different colors. You know, the faded and the dark. Okay. And then get your piece of jute string and tie it up in a knot and scrunch it together. Okay. This is where I'll put a red one. Okay, and if you don't like the jute strings, you know, that long, you can cut them. I just want to make them long enough so that I can tie it in a knot. And then I'll go back at the end and trim them down. And then also right here on your edges, if you have some that are longer than others, we're going to go and trim up all that evenly at the end. Okay, this is where I'll put another dark one. And I want to scrunch them close together, and so you're not going to see a lot of the red, but that's okay, because I mean, I just wanted it to be kind of settled in there, sort of like the stripes on the flag. And you can also go in and put some white strips in it if you want. They're not going to be, they're going to be kind of loose at first when you're starting out, because you just have a few here, so they might slide around a little bit. Once you start to get everything on and squinch it together, it'll get tighter and you won't have to worry about it sliding around too much. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish all the way around till I get to the top section here, this top section, and then I'll do the blue ones with the stars. And then on those, I'm not going to put the lighter color jeans or the red. It's just going to be all blue. Okay, so you can see I've got most of it done. So I'm down to the section where I want to start placing my darker blue strips that have the stars on them, are here. But first I wanted to show you, before I get to that section, whenever you're putting these together, you see how I've got them, you know, pretty snug close together. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking this strip and placing it underneath, but I'm kind of folding it over like a hem. So that way whenever I put it on here and I squish it close up to this, you're not going to see the raw edge of the blue jean. Now you can do it that way if you want, so that you can have, you know, if you like it frayed and want a little more texture to it, you can do that. But I've been doing it this way because I don't really I want this section to be smooth. The only place that it's not too smooth is right here where I put the seam of the blue jean. You know, it's got that raw edge seam. And it's not too bad. I like it like that. It looks okay. So I'm okay with that. So yeah, and so then I just go and, you know, tie it on there with my jute string and pushing it up closer to the previous jean here. And you'll see the raw edge here, but when you have that folded hem of the next one go over that, it'll hide it. And I'm tying these jute strings really tight and tying them in a knot. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with my stars. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to hem a little section of it. Making sure that my stars will show up. You know, you want to make sure that you're squishing these closer together, but you don't want to squish them so much that you can't see the stars. And if you're going to glue stars on there, then you don't have to worry about that. Okay. I'll go in with my next one. Doing the same thing, just folding it over, just like a, you know, not about 1/4 of an inch, or a little less than 1/4 of an inch if you need to. Just want to fold over that raw edge. Okay, not too bad. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a plain one in between the next one and the next star. But I'm still using the darker fabric where I'm putting it, where I'm using the plain. I'm not going to put any of the light colored blue jeans in this section. Okay, so I've finished tying all of them on. You can see our star section up here. Now I'm going to go around and I'm going to unravel my jute string and press it out to the ends, and then I'm going to trim all the way around these ends to make them even, because I want all the outside to be, you know, more rustic. So I'm just going to take them, and what I do is take the string and I just go twist it backwards, and that kind of relieves all the strands like that. And it does take some time to do this, but you know, it's well worth it. Now these are kind of long. I am going to cut them so you don't have to worry about them being too long or anything. And so I'll do all this off camera, and I'll meet you right back in a minute. Okay, so I've unraveled all of my jute string, as you can see. Some of it pops up a little bit. You can take a little bit of hot glue and glue that down to make it stay a little bit more flatter if you need to. I've already trimmed a little bit on the bottom here. I just wanted to show you that once you have it trimmed to the right length that you want it to be, I'm going to take my scissors in and I'm going to go in and I'm going to cut the blue jeans. I'm just going to cut a few little slits in each of the blue jeans, the ends. to fluff them up so that you get a really good raveling effect on the outside of your wreath. And it's very, you know, farmhouse, Americana, rustic style, so that if you don't like that style, then you can just use ribbons to tie on all of your strip pieces. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, trimming it and fluffing up the ends of my blue jean strips, and then we'll go on to decorating it. Okay, so I've gone through and I've trimmed up all these edges, and I glued down some of these jute strings where they were kind of popping up. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take some grosgrain ribbon. This is navy, and it's the Ofray brand from Walmart, and it's 3/8 inch. And I'm just going to make a bow by just forming it like an awareness ribbon, and then just tucking that in like this and forming a bow. Okay. I'm going to put a little dab of glue in there to make the bow. And then I'm going to take this bow and I'm going to put it in different places all along my wreath, except for right here at the top on the right hand side. In this area, I'm going to leave it blank for now because this is where my florals are going to go, and I want to make sure that, you know, I don't have to put any bows here if I don't need it, but I can go in later and put some more if I need to. So I'm going to stick my bow all along the edges here to hide some of this glue, and I'm going to put one of these buttons that I have in my stash, and it's just little red gingham buttons, red and like a tan color, so it's going to go well with the burlap and the jute ribbon. So I'll start my ribbon off again, iron where I want it, how long I want it to be, and then I'll take my hot glue. I'm just going to put a little dab right there in the back, and then bring that together to meet right where I've crossed it here. Okay, and I'll have to put a little bit where they crisscross in the front. Okay, and then I'm going to place it. You know, figure out where I want to put it on my wreath here. And then I will put a dab of glue on the back. Press that down. This is one of my symbols. And then take my button, and I'm going to put some glue right in the middle here. Just hot glue that button on there. Just like that. So I'm just going to randomly, you know, well, get as many in as I can around the wreath. And I'm cutting these in 7/8 lengths. So I have just over 9 feet left of my ribbon. Now I want to make sure that I can get as many as I can with it. I should be able to get like 15 different bows. Make sure I have that right. do some glue where the crisscross is first. And then I'll pick another spot. I think I'm going to glue all my bows together first and then decide, you know, how to place them evenly around. Okay, I'm going to continue to make these bows, and then when I have them ready to glue the buttons on, I'll come back and show you. Okay, so I've placed all of my bows. I've glued them on with the little buttons, except for this section right here. And then I left a little space here because this is where I'm going to tie the florals and bows. So I'll just leave this blank because you're not going to be able to see the bows and the buttons here anyway. Okay, so I was thinking that I'm going to place these redder buttons up here on these bows where I have my stars. Now, I think I like that better to kind of, you know, bring out this section of the stars. And then I'll place these other ones here to finish it off. Okay. So to glue these, I'm just putting the glue down on the bow itself. I hope you can see this because my glue gun does not stretch that far. And then I place the button on top. Just like that. Okay. And my other red button. Go. Okay, and then all I have to do is place these few other buttons. Okay. So that leaves me with a few. I might go in between some of these and put some more buttons. So now all we need to do is to make our ribbons, our bows, and our floral to put right here on the top. Well, to the side. So I will set this aside. I'm going to grab florals that I have. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my bow first. And then I'll just stick the florals inside underneath the bow to make that portion of our wreath. So I want to make our background bow out of this red satin. Let's see, I'm just going to make a tail. I want my tails to be kind of long, so I'm going to make the tail about 12 inches long. And then we'll make our loop about 10 inches. Now, actually, I'll make it 12 inches as well. I want a big loop for the bottom bow. I'm just going to make 2 loops with this. twist this loop. And I want my tails to go downward so that they're going to be hanging down from the side of the wreath. Okay, and so to hold this, I'm just going to use a pipe cleaner. I just want to hold it in place for now. So I can set this one aside. Then I'm going to grab this one, Star Burlap. Now for this one, I'll make the tails about 10 inches long and the loop's about 10 inches. But I want to do about 4 loops. This is our star ribbon. And by that I mean the star of the show. Oops. Okay, so then I'll take this portion and I'm going to put it on top of this bow. And I'm going to take this pipe cleaner and wrap it around so I can hold this one together. Twist it in the back. Then I'm going to grab the blue. Now blue, we'll just do like about a 9-inch tail. And same loop, 9-inch loop. And this one is a 1.5 inch, and the other two are 2.5 inch wide. This one I'll just do, I'll go ahead and do four loops on this one as well. With this one I'm going to turn it just a little bit more sideways. Okay, and then I'm going to grab a zip tie to zip tie them all together. And before I tighten it all the way, I'm going to stick another pipe cleaner in here that we can use to wrap around the wreath. And this other one that I have on here, I'm going to remove that one. So I'm just untwisting that other one and I'm going to pull it out if I haven't done this too tightly. But I can cut it as well if I need to. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll just wrap it and tighten it a little bit. And I'm going to cut that one off. Just press it down so that the wires don't stick out. Okay. So now we can fluff up our bow. And then our tails, we'll go in and dovetail them. Sure I got them all. Okay. So now we can attach our bow to the wreath and then decide on how we're going to place our florals. I'm just wrapping the pipe cleaner around the back. You might have to go in between some of these and then pulling it tight, twisting it. Okay, and then you can cut off some of the excess and then tuck that in underneath the blue jeans. That way it'll be out of the way. Okay. So if you need to fluff it up some more, we can do that. Okay, and then we can go in with some florals. Got these with the blue flowers that we can stick in there. Or you want to just put some roses in it. You just go in and like glue them right down inside. Or if you want to just pop them off, you could just stick one right here in the middle of your bow. Actually, I think that is exactly what I'll do. You can also, if you want something more white, you can stick the magnolia in it. Now, my house is decorated with lots of magnolias. I love magnolias, so this is more me. Whatever you decide to do for florals, you can do that. And I'm going to go ahead and see this magnolia here, and then probably rose. And then when I'm done, I will place it on my door and show you what it looks like. Okay, so before I hang it up to show you on the door, I just wanted to show you how to make a hanger. And I'm just going to, let's see, I'm just going to take a zip tie and find the bar at the top here. So I'm just going to make a loop. Just like this, to hang it. You can also put a ribbon at the top and hang it from the ribbon if you want. So here we are. I think it came out so cute. You can see I added those little blue flowers and a couple little foam white roses to it. on the top and the bottom, and a couple of little loops of the burlap ribbon. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Wasn't this a fun project to do? If you enjoyed this DIY denim wreath, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more crafty inspiration. I'd love to know if you make one. Let me know in the comments below if you do. Until next time, happy crafting.